Thank you again for showing up. Let's start with a bit of your intro. Maybe if you can tell us a bit about yourself, what you have been doing so far, how was the journey, a bit about your experience and everything.
As you know, my name is Himani Bishnoi. I am a rehabilitation counselor. You can also call me a child and adolescent psychologist because that is the population that I specialize in. And as per my educational qualifications go, I am a master's in psychology. I did it from University of Delhi, and then eventually I pursued an advanced diploma in child guidance and counseling, which allowed me to practice as an independent mental health professional, specifically with the population of children and adolescents till 18 years of age. And as per my work experience, I have worked with organizations like corporates, I have worked with schools, intervention clinics, I have worked in childcare institutions. So my repertoire of skills have been quite varied, and the specific things that I specialize in or I can probably be really good at are therapeutic interventions, supportive counseling, parental guidance and counseling, and some bit of special education as well, because I've had certain bit of on-the-job training regarding special education. Personally, I think that this field really aligns with how I am as a person, as an individual. My vision really aligns with the kind of profession I am in. I believe in making a world which is full of warmth and kindness, and where people can reach out to each other and be there for each other in times of distress like the current one that we are facing. And as you can see, the awareness about mental health has increased leaps and bounds in the last 1.5 years. So I'm trying to make it, to contribute whatever I can to the society in whatever little bit way I can. So that's the vision I have, and that's the vision I have for this profession as well. So it kind of merges.
That's great, Himani. Thank you so much for telling about yourself. Now, as you have clearly mentioned that you are a child and adolescent expert, and definitely mental health is a topic that has taken a boom in past 1.5 years, but still there are few topics or few things that people are not clear with, or not very much sure about, that what could be the right place, right platform, or right people with whom they can discuss and talk. So one of the most important topic I somewhere believe is learning disability, and you, as you are a child and adolescent expert, so you will be the best person to answer definitely few of the commonly asked questions. So let's try, and let's start with a very basic one. So as per you, what is learning disability? And is it genetic, or there could be any other factor also to it?
So learning disability, more commonly known as specific learning disability as we go by the nomenclature which has been accepted worldwide, so is a disorder which has a neurological basis, meaning that it alters the function of certain parts of your brain, and in layman terms we call it cross wiring or cross connection of certain parts of the brain, so that it doesn't function the way it is supposed to, and the way it is supposed to carry out certain tasks, certain functions, certain behavior. So it doesn't do that. So this is about learning disability at the core. But if you talk about how it manifests and how it shows up, it is basically affecting certain psychological or cognitive processes that are responsible for our learning. Say like reading, writing, performing mathematical calculations, arithmetic operations. So why does it show up in these particular skills? Because if you talk about certain cognitive processes, what would you say? Like if you have to think about, say, copying from the board. Yeah, a child has to do that in school, and while he is at home also, parents make him or her do that. So while copying, there are a number of skills that are required. First of all, being able to have a good vision so that you can look at the board, right? Then understanding that you have to copy it from the blackboard to your copy. So understanding what you have to do, that instruction the teacher says you have to copy from the board, and the child understands and then does also. So two parts are involved here. And then what he does is he holds the pencil, he or she holds the pencil. So that requires motor development, proper muscle strength, muscle tone, fine motor grasp, tripod grasp, which includes both of your fingers and your thumb. So that is the appropriate grasp called tripod grasp. that is required. Pressure that you put on the paper so that it doesn't tear up, that is also one thing. Then you have to understand that you have to copy from the board to the notebook, so eye hand coordination. Then motor memory, you have to move your hand in this manner so that it forms an A. This is called motor memory. My muscle has a memory of how to write a letter. It understands, it remembers. So you can understand the breakup of the skills. So there may be deficits in one or two or probably three, four or multiple parts of these. So what happens is the child struggles in performing these tasks. I have talked about copying, which is a simple thing. We can call it a simple thing, but it might be very difficult for some children. But there are multiple things like that are required in your academic functioning. So it could be reading, it could be writing, like I said. So there are different parts of learning disabilities. One is called dyslexia. Mostly people confuse learning disability with dyslexia. They have given it a one term कि ये dyslexia है. बट आपको ये समझने की जरूरत है कि डिसलेक्सिया एक अलग चीज है, देन देयर इज डिस्ग्राफिया एंड देन देयर इज डिसकैल्कुलिया. डिसलेक्सिया बेसिकली रीडिंग के साथ डील करता है, लैंग्वेज के साथ डील करता है. डिसग्राफिया इज बेसिकली राइटिंग and the motor skill part that we are talking about. And dyscalculia is basically mathematical calculation. So this is not dyslexia entirely, this is learning disability. So people have to understand the nomenclature also that you use, the term that you use, right? And to answer the second part of your question, which is it genetic? So there has been a lot of literature, there has been a lot of research in this department, in this area, but we can only go by certain general observations that the psychologists or other professionals have been able to put their hands on, lay their hands on. So it would be, I would say that it affects certain parts of your brain. So till the time all those parts of the brain that are required to carry out a task are in sync, I cannot do that. So this is one thing that goes wrong here. It is difficult to get information from all the parts of the brain and then perform that particular task. So but I can say that there is some evidence about genetic aspect as well, but it could be anything. It could be something before birth, it could be something during the birth, it could be something after the birth. If I talk about before birth, it could be the mother had some sort of an infection, some exposure to a toxic substance, anything like that, any problems in the conception or while the child was getting grown in the womb. And secondly, during the birth, it could be that there were problems in delivery, the cord was around the neck, there was a forceps delivery, anything like that. After birth, it could be any injury, any accident, there was no proper nutrition provided to the baby after he or she was born. So there could be a number of factors, but again, reiterating that there has been evidence about the genetic aspect as well. But there are a number of risk factors that can cause learning disability.
So Himani, what is the difference between having a learning issue and having a learning disability or disorder?
So this is one of the most common questions that we have been asking, and other people have also been asking to us as professionals. So I would say that learning problems are not learning disorders or learning disabilities. Learning disabilities have a neurological basis, and there are certain deficits in certain parts of the brain, and it affects your high order thinking, and it affects your learning processes and everything. There is information processing deficits also. So but in learning problems, there are other factors that we attribute it to. So learning problem is not a disorder in that sense. It is caused by certain factors, like for example, there could be visual impairment that hampers your learning process, that hampers your learning journey. There could be an auditory impairment, the hearing impairment. I cannot hear, I cannot see. There could be two types of impairments here. There could be motor difficulties. I cannot hold the pen. I don't have the fine motor ability to hold a pen properly, put it onto the paper, apply the appropriate amount of pressure, and then write. My arm lacks proper muscle strength. There's low muscle tone. So I cannot actually carry out the writing task. So it could be due to motor problems. Of course, you know that our academic functioning relies heavily on written tasks and everything. So that is of course required. So it will hamper your learning. Then there could be certain socio-cultural or economic disadvantages, like the person's family cannot afford a very a progressive school where education is emphasized upon, where there are new techniques of teaching and everything. So the child lags in certain skills, and probably the child is a first generational learner. He or she is the first person from the family to have been educated. Nobody went to school before him or her. So there would not be an enriching environment at home. He or she has no one to look up to when he has to ask for certain solutions, have to get some queries sorted, nothing like that. Then one important aspect is people who have parents with transferable jobs. So they keep shifting, keep changing their schools. So they are unable to catch up with the curriculum, with the teaching methodologies, the pedagogy, teacher interactions, everything. So it keeps lagging there. So that's one thing. Also sometimes people change from boards ना, like they would, जैसे CBSE से निकल के कई लोग ICSE में चले जाते हैं या फिर किसी और स्टेट बोर्ड में चले जाते हैं, तो सबका अपना अपना एक डिफरेंट अप्रोच है. तो वहाँ पे उन लोगों को डिफिकल्टी होती है टू अडेप्ट टू अनदर करिकुलम. So that's one thing, and that I have heard a lot in my own experience also. So that happens. And lastly, I could say that there could be certain social emotional problems also. The child is probably having low self-esteem, या उनको friends बनाने में बहुत दिक्कत हो रही है, तो उनको अपने बारे में बहुत ज़्यादा ऐसे low feel हो रहा है. उनको लग रहा है कि they are probably not very good person, not a very good person, or maybe एंजाइटी, या उनको सेल्फ इमेज के इश्यूज हैं, बॉडी इमेज के इश्यूज है, कुछ भी हो सकता है, एनीथिंग रिलेटेड टू इमोशनल डोमेन. सो क्या होगा कि जब वो टीचर पढ़ा रहे हैं या वो किसी चीज को टास्क को अटेंड कर रहे हैं, तो उनका दिमाग तो हमेशा प्री ऑक्यूपाइड रहेगा उन चीजों में, विच इज वन ऑफ द मेन फीचर ऑफ ऑल दीज सोशल इमोशनल कंसर्न्स, कि यू गेट प्री ऑक्यूपाइड, यू गेट डिस्ट्रैक्टेड. आप कॉन्स्टेंटली सिर्फ उसी के बारे में सोच रहे होते हो. सो योर अटेंशन वुड बी डिस्ट्रैक्टेड, यू वोंट बी फोकस्ड. तो आप उसमें ग्रास्प नहीं कर पाओगे, तो समझ नहीं पाओगे, रिकॉल नहीं कर पाओगे और रिप्रोड्यूस नहीं कर पाओगे, which is the demand of our academic functioning. So learning problems are due to certain other factors that I have listed just now, and learning disabilities have a neurological basis. They are disorders and they affect your brain functioning. It could be in a form of structure or it could be in form of functioning.
Okay. So Himani, how would someone know if their children or if their child have a learning disability or disorder, or if they are a slow learner? How they will find out the difference?
Okay, so I would just highlight one fact here, that we only diagnose that a person has specific learning disability when the intelligence is average, but there are problems and there are concerns with academic functioning. The child is not able to perform that well academically, or he or she is struggling with certain important tasks that are required in academic life. So that's one important thing. But when we talk about slow learners are typically people who have borderline intelligence, whose intelligence is lower than average. So those people are called slow learners. तो जब आप इंटेलिजेंस में कोई एक डेफिसिट की बात करते हो, या आप ये कहते हो कि उनकी इंटेलिजेंस अप टू द मार्क या एवरेज नहीं है, तो वहाँ पे ये होता है कि ग्लोबल फंक्शनिंग में प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं. व्हेन आई से ग्लोबल, इट मीन्स इट विल शो अप इन एवरी एस्पेक्ट ऑफ योर लाइफ. आपके लाइफ के जितने भी एरियाज है, आप क्या क्या काम करते हो सुबह से उठकर, आप डेली लिविंग की एक्टिविटीज और अडेप्टिव बिहेवियर की बात करो, तो उसमें आप ब्रश करते हो सुबह उठ के, आप अपने आप को ड्रेसअप करते हो, यू बेथ योरसेल्फ एंड देन यू ईट एंड यू हैव योर ब्रेकफास्ट, और आप अपनी चीजें ऑर्गेनाइज करते हो. देन यू ऑल्सो समटाइम्स व्हेन किड्स आर probably adolescents या teenagers जो होते हैं, वो खुद से भी जाते हैं अपने बस स्टॉप तक या अपने स्कूल में. तो ये बहुत सारी चीजें जिनको हम बोलते हैं अडेप्टिव बिहेवियर. आप लाइफ से अडेप्ट करने के लिए ये स्किल्स इंपॉर्टेंट है ना. तो यहाँ पे भी वो लोग लैक करेंगे, उनको नहीं समझ में आएगा कि कैसे अपने आप को कैरी करना है, कैसे अपनी चीजें खुद से करनी है, टॉयलेटिंग हैबिट्स, सेल्फ केयर हैबिट्स, एवरीथिंग दे वुड स्ट्रगल इन एवरी एस्पेक्ट ऑफ इट. एंड when it comes to specific learning disability, वहाँ पे आपको बहुत ही appropriately दिखेगा कि intelligence intact है, but there are certain areas जहाँ पे वो लोग lack करते हैं. So if you do a typical IQ test on these people, on children, then you would see the graph would go like this, right? So in some areas they would be exceptionally good, and in some areas they would be below than average. So that probably overpowers their being good at something, and वो पूरा जो उसका एक sum up होता है वो stars का, वो नहीं निकाल के लेके आ पाते. Hence they struggle with their academic functioning, in their school life, in performing certain tasks. So ये एक main bifurcation है दोनों के बीच में, कि slow learners have a global deficit. Their deficit will show up in every area, and intellectual स्पेसिफिक लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटी में उनको कुछ एस्पेक्ट्स में ही कुछ डेफिसिट्स दिखेंगे, जिसकी वजह से ओवरऑल इम्पैक्ट उतना अच्छा नहीं आ पा रहा है.
So does learning disability mean that my child is less intelligent?
I just mentioned some of it in the last question also. So it has nothing to do with intelligence. The child has, like you're seeing in front of you, if you do a proper standardized test of IQ, then you would get to know, for example, the child is brilliant at visualizing things. उसका स्पेशल रिकग्निशन बहुत अच्छा है, वो मैप्स बहुत अच्छे से रीड कर सकता है या कर सकती है, या फिर उसके लिए चीज, जैसे उसको कोई स्टोरी सुनाई जा रही है तो उसके लिए इमेजिन करना बहुत ईजी है, बहुत अच्छा है बच्चा उसमें. बट जब उसको लिखने की बारी आती है तो देन देयर इज अ स्ट्रगल, क्योंकि उसको समझ नहीं आ रहा कि उस एक्सपीरियंस को वर्ड्स कौन से दूं, और वर्ड्स अगर दे भी दिए तो उस वर्ड की स्पेलिंग क्या है. स्पेलिंग मान लो अगर है ब्यूटीफुल, ब का साउंड है तो बी लिखना है, नहीं पता. फुल लिखना है, UL आना है. तो साउंड से हम अक्षर को पहचानते हैं. आवाज और अक्षर दोनों के बीच में कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस होना चाहिए, नहीं तो तब तक हम राइटिंग नहीं कर सकते हैं, ना हम उस इंस्ट्रक्शन को रिसीव कर पाएंगे. सो अगेन यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम्स ओवरऑल अंडरस्टैंडिंग में नहीं है या इंटेलिजेंस में नहीं है. इंटेलिजेंस हम किसे कहते हैं? इंटेलिजेंस हम इसी चीज को बोलते हैं ना कि तो आपका IQ इन द सेंस कि आपके जो सर्टेन स्किल्स हैं, लाइक विजुअल प्रोसेसिंग, आई हैंड कोऑर्डिनेशन, अंडरस्टैंडिंग, स्पेशियल रिकग्निशन एंड ऑल ऑफ दीज स्किल्स, ये सही है या नहीं है. उसके अलावा अडैप्टिव बिहेवियर होता है आपका, जो आप रोजमर्रा के काम करते हो एवरीडे लाइफ सिचुएशंस में. तो इंटेलिजेंस उनका इंटैक्ट है. जैसे मैंने पहले अगर मैं मेंशन करूँ तो स्पेसिफिक लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटीज को हिडन डिसेबिलिटीज भी बोलते हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि आपको वैसे देखने में लगेगा कि द पर्सन इज परफेक्टली फाइन, फंक्शनिंग नॉर्मली लाइक एनी अदर किड वुड डू, बट व्हेन यू लुक एट द नोटबुक और व्हेन यू लुक एट द रिपोर्ट कार्ड और द परफॉर्मेंस, यू वुड सी दैट देयर आर सर्टेन लैग्स. सो वहां पे आपको स्पेसिफिकली फिर जाके पता चलता है. हम क्यों बोलते हैं कि लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटी इतना इजीली रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं होता? इसी वजह से नहीं होता क्योंकि आपको वो नॉर्मल फंक्शनिंग में नहीं दिखेगा. आपको स्पेसिफिकली एकेडमिक टास्क्स में जाके उसको ढूंढना पड़ेगा, तभी आपको दिखेगा. सो हेंस इंटेलिजेंस इज नॉट टू बी कॉम्प्रोमाइज्ड इन स्पेसिफिक लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटी. Intelligence is intact, but there are deficits in certain parts of the brain which causes him or her to have problems in certain tasks.
So does learning disability fade away with age or it still remains there?
So fade away with age, if I say it fades away with age या वो चला जाता है या person cure हो जाता है, so that would not be correct because this is a lifelong condition, it stays with you. But again, you come to customize your life around that disability. You tend to get help from different departments like your parents, school, if there is a special educator, if you're going for other therapies, if you're going for remedial work, anything. So you customize your life around it, you structure and clip everything around that particular condition and you become successful at whatever you're potentially good at. So ऐसा नहीं है कि हम उनको बोलेंगे कि हाँ ये चला जाएगा, ये क्योर हो जाएगा, क्योंकि ये कोई डिजीज नहीं है. This is a disorder which is basically because of your brain functioning. It stays with you, but you tend to जैसे मैंने बोला कि ये ग्राफ है, आपको चीजों में अच्छे हो तो आप उन पे वर्क करो जिस पे आप अच्छे हो, और जिस पे आप अच्छे नहीं हो उसको सुधारने के लिए हम कुछ ऐसे इंटरवेंशंस, कुछ ऐसे अकोमोडेशंस या ऐसे कुछ मॉडिफिकेशंस करते हैं जिसके हिसाब से पर्सन वुड बी एबल टू लीड a typical life as all other children are leading. So that's one thing.